Let us begin with the prayer. Tabu kathamritam tapta jivanam kavi viriditam kalmashapaham Shravana mangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi grinanti e Bhurida janaha. After a long vacation, we are meeting again, and I think slowly that chill winter is over, and the snow and all those things will now reduce, and the summer will come. And once again, we will read the Panchama Veda, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Before this vacation, we have already studied the unique conversation between Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar and Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. And if we can remember the main points of the conversation, the most unique one, Brahmo je ki ta mukhe bola jayena. What Brahman is cannot be described, Sri Ramakrishna is telling. All things in the world, the Vedas, the Puranas, the Tantras, the 6 systems of philosophy have been defiled, like food that has been touched by the tongue, for they have been read or uttered by the human tongue, except Brahman. It's a unique way he is telling. Very simple, but at the same time very unique. And the Vidyasagar, the person like Vidyasagar is reply, oh, that is a remarkable statement. Brahman has not been defiled. Why? Because you have to realize it. No one can express it. It is beyond time, space and causation. The moment you can describe, that very moment it becomes finite. The moment it becomes finite, it is bound to be destroyed. So hence the Brahman, the eternal truth, the consciousness, the all-pervading consciousness, usually we call it God, cannot be described. No one could do it, even not the Veda. In the Kathopanishad, some of you must have attended the class, and there the Kathopanishad also, when the Nachiketa is asking the Yoma, please tell me about that Brahman, he was giving the description of Brahman indirect way. This may be called Om iti Brahman. So Om, the word that we utter, is the Brahman, like that. It is giving this type of description. Sri Ramakrishna again said to Vidyasagar that Brahman and Shakti are identical. This is also very unique. The most of the people all through these years, after the Vedic Yuga, this time in this present age, someone is telling in a very simple term what truth is. Brahman and Shakti are identical, like fire and its power to burn. You cannot separate it. The moment you tell something as a fire, it must be having the capacity to burn. If that cannot burn, then that is not fire. Maybe that it looks like fire. Sometimes we see in the park and in different places, they are showing the fire, but that is only light. That is only some type of modern gadgets they are using, showing like the fire, but it has no power to burn. So he is giving the simile in such a beautiful way. The Brahman and Shakti cannot be separated. And then he said, Brahman alone is addressed as Mother. When Sri Ramakrishna, the God of this age, he has advented and he is giving us a new training, the how to realize God, then he is asking us to think God as the Mother, because there is very simple way to remember. And we know the Mother, our own Mother. And similarly, if we are thinking the divine God as our Mother, the relation becomes so easy for us. So that's why he is telling one must have faith and love. He is in the conversation with the Vidyasagar, he is telling faith and love. Otherwise, it is impossible to understand God. Where is the problem? He pointed out. I and mine, these constitute ignorance. Knowledge leads to truth. So these are the conversation, the points that we find from the Vidyasagar and Sri Ramakrishna's long conversation. I and mine, these constitute ignorance. When you look at our life, we can understand all through our life we said I, but the time comes when we cannot do anything. Sometimes the people in the coma or in such a condition, physical condition, his own people whom he used to love so much, they're all standing nearby. The person cannot recognize them. This is a common fact. All doctors will be able to tell in almost all the hospitals there are stories like this. But we don't learn from it. So I and mine, this is illusory, temporary. But we are all fighting so much of egoistic. A cause of problem is this, I and mine. Then he says, knowledge leads to truth. This is very important for the spiritual seekers. What is knowledge? In the terminology, in the definition of Shankaracharya, he says, Brahma Shatta Jagat Mithya. That is the knowledge. Brahman is truth. And the Jagat, all this that we see as the manifestation, Mithya, untruth, false. Why? Truth means eternal. That we have to remember. Here, when we are again and again mentioning about the truth, Satya, Sad, that means eternal, without any change. And the moment we say Asat, the moment we say untruth, it is all there. We can touch it, we can feel it, we can see it, we can taste it. But it is transitory because it is changing, changing and changing. The moment it is changing, obviously it is going to be destroyed someday. The Brahman has not been created with anything else. But all other things has been created in the combination of two and more. The moment there are two, it is going to break someday. So these are the truth. Spiritual truth. When the moment we call as God, what is God? Eternal truth. What is that eternal truth? Unchangeable and all-pervading consciousness. This moment we cannot realize it, this moment we cannot express, this moment we cannot feel, this moment even in our intellect we cannot conceive, but that is the truth. That we have to realize. So Sri Ramakrishna said, I and mine, ami ebang amar. In Bengali he said, I and mine, changing constantly. When I was a small little kid, my whole world, my whole universe was my mother. And then slowly, when I am growing up, so many other things are coming in my life. And I am thinking, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. then ultimately a day will come, everything will be as it is, and I will live. So that is called I and mine, whom I am thinking right this moment as the permanent, the source of my joy, source of my inspiration, source of my life, and I am thinking that that will remain with me permanently. Wrong. Though we don't like to think of it, it's so painful even to think, but that is the truth. So when we know this truth and do our services, our duties, and live our life, we live with an unattached temperament. When we are unattached, pain and pleasure cannot touch us. Pain and pleasure cannot touch, then what remains? A peace. Always the same, and that is the truth. Brahman alone is existing, all else are illusory. Then the Vidyasagar, he asked a question. Has he endowed some with more power and others with less? This is a question naturally we can feel whether some people, the God has given more power to someone and less to someone, then he is not just. Most of the people, they will be complaining, and their complaint is this: the God has given so many qualities and all these things to that person, but he has not given to me. How can he call that he is just? Sri Ramakrishna is telling, as the all-pervading spirit, I repeat, as the all-pervading spirit, he, H capital, that means God, exists in all beings. As the all-pervading spirit, the consciousness, he is in every being, even in an ant. But the manifestation of his power are different in different beings. So clear answer. And that is why we should be humble when we see somebody successful. And that person who is successful should be humble, thinking that because of God's grace, I have got these qualities. But obviously, most of the cases we find, he becomes egoistic. He thinks that I have done it. And the moment that ego comes, the downfall begins. He was striving, he has been successful, that's good. But at the back of that, unseen, unheard, God's grace was there. And that is the reason one should be very, very humble. The more he is successful, more he should be humble. In Sanskrit, they always teach us Vidya dadati vinayam. The humble he becomes, the more he is learned, because he knows the truth. I have already collected so much of information. From whom? My predecessors. They have given me all this information. They did the research, and from that, over that knowledge, I have done something. How can I take the whole credit? Because the base was there, so many other information was there. When a person is researching, what he does, he goes to the library, he goes to the laboratory, he reads books and he takes the references, and he gets so many other support. The moment he has got something new, he thinks that I have done it. It's true. But 80-90% others have contributed. So that is the reason one should be very humble when he is successful. And Sri Ramakrishna is telling the manifestation of God are different in different people. Then he reminded, in relation to philanthropic work, man cannot really help the world. God alone does that. This is the unique teaching. The most of the time we feel that when we are helping others, we are getting the merit. We think that we are helping others. Wrong. We cannot help anyone. Only what we can do, we can serve that person as God. That will benefit me. My prayer will be heard. My mind will be purified. But we cannot help anyone. Only God can help. So that should be my attitude when I am helping someone. If these activities are done in a selfless spirit, they lead to God. Vidyasagar was helping so many people. In that situation, in the time of Vidyasagar and Sri Ramakrishna, the society, Indian society, they needed so many things. People were suffering. Mostly the major portion, that was the women. Education, they were bereft of education. And so many other things were imposed on them. They were tortured. At that time, Vidyasagar came forward to help them. And in different way, he was helping them. Sri Ramakrishna is telling, this is very good. He heard about that. He knew about that. He came and saw Vidyasagar. And then he wanted to help him to realize God. But unfortunately, at the end, when Sri Ramakrishna was leaving Vidyasagar's home, he said, please visit Dakshinesha. Then Vidyasagar, as is the norm in the Western world, return visit, they call it. As you have visited me, so naturally someday I will also visit you, he said. See, immediately Sri Ramakrishna rectified, corrected. Visiting me? Don't say that. Who am I? Don't try to come to me, come to God. So that is the attitude. I am humble. I am no one. I am at the feet of the God. That humbleness Sri Ramakrishna is teaching again and again. And Vidyasagar gave the word that he will visit, but he never turned. He never came. Sri Ramakrishna didn't like it. When you are telling that I will come, you must have to keep the word. Shivnath Shastri, he too was a spiritual leader, so-called spiritual leader, you can say. He was the leader of the Brahma Samaj. He also promised that he will come. He didn't keep the promise. Sri Ramakrishna didn't like it. Once you give the word, you must have to keep. And when he asked Naren, Naren said, I will try. He didn't say, I will come. He said, I will try. And liked it. Sri Ramakrishna liked it. It's true. I will try my best, but I am not giving you the word. The moment you give the word, you must have to. So this is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. There is nothing in mere scholarship. He was reminding Vidyasagar. Vidyasagar knew all the 6 systems of Indian philosophy. He was a very learned man. He got the title Vidya Sagar, the ocean of learning. It was not his surname. It was the title that he achieved. Vidya Sagar. But still, there is nothing in mere scholarship. The object of study, to know God, to realize Him. When you are studying the scripture, what is the purpose? The most of the people, they will be reading different type of books. Some Buddhism, then Christianity, then Islam, the Jainism, Judaism, the Hinduism, all they will study, and afterwards what? Nothing. They get some information. Hinduism, they are having this. Judaism, they are having that. Okay. Then what? Nothing. So when we are studying the scripture, because life is very short, and we cannot spend the life by reading these and that, we have to pinpoint that these are the things I am going to study, and so that I get the benefit out of it. And after that, we find a very special conversation Sri Ramakrishna is having. Here in the book, Swami Nikhilananda ji, who has translated the Gospel, he is giving the caption, Advice to Householders. This was August 13, 1882. It was in the room at Dakshinesha Sri Ramakrishna in his own room, and some of the devotees like Kedar and other devotees, they were there. Kedar was a government official and had spent several years at Dhaka in East Bengal. Dhaka, now the capital of Bangladesh, where he had become a friend of Vijay Goswami. Vijay Goswami, he also was a very famous leader of the Brahma Samaj in one point of time. Afterwards, of course, he started his own because he didn't like the Brahma Samaj, God without form, because he was a devotee. The two would spend a great part of their life together talking about Sri Ramakrishna and his spiritual experiences. Vijay Krishna Goswami used to visit Sri Ramakrishna and he used to share his experiences with his friend Kedar, who was also a government official. The Kedar had once been a member of the Brahma Samaj. In those days, any educated person in Bengal, they all thought that one should be the member of the Brahma Samaj, and that was a prestige. If you are not the member of the Brahma Samaj, people used to think, oh, he is not educated enough. So he was there. He followed the path of bhakti. Spiritual talk always brought tears in his eyes. This is the one-line comment Master Masha is giving about the Kedar. Spiritual talk always brought tears in his eyes. The moment there will be talk on God, the Kedar used to cry because the bhakti, the devotion was so much within him. And that's why he could come to Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna liked him so much. And the master explained to the devotee. And before that, Sri Master Masha is giving the description. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Kedar was very happy that day, having arranged a religious festival for Sri Ramakrishna. A singer had been hired by Ram, and the whole day passed in joy. Sri Ramakrishna liked bhajans and the songs very much. And a very, very good singer was hired, and his bhajans, his songs, Sri Ramakrishna liked. Most of the people, they sing for the appreciation of the listeners. That do not touch the heart. A person who is singing particularly the bhajan, the songs dedicated to God, if they are not understanding the meaning of the words that they are uttering through the music, if they are not sincere, that do not touch the heart of the people. So some of the songs, very famous song, very popular song in Hindi, there are people, they will be singing, the cassettes are selling in hundreds, but it do not touch the heart, because that is only commercial. They know the fast rhythm, and so the people will like, they know the words, they are using those. That is good to hear, nice to hear, but it do not give the impetus, the help that a bhajan should give, a devotional song should give. And this person, when he sang, Sri Ramakrishna liked it very much. Then he is explaining to the devotees the secret of communion with God. Master, with the realization of Satchidananda, one goes into Samadhi. Now, what is Samadhi? We are explaining it when we are taking the learning that our yoga class. There we are learning about the Samadhi. We have already read about that. There are 2 types of Samadhis, but Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning that when you go deep into your mind, and that is possible when you realize Satchit Ananda. Satchidananda. In one word, when you break it, Sat. Sat means eternal. Chit means knowledge. Ananda means bliss. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Eternal, knowledge and bliss. See, again, they are trying to give the description of the Brahman, but you cannot explain Brahman. They are only giving the hint. And what is that hint? It is eternal. It is knowledge. And it is bliss. Sat Chit Ananda. We can somehow perceive, we can understand eternal. It's not changing, never changing. Sometimes we look at the huge mountain Himalaya and we think it is eternal. No, it is also changing. Sometimes we look at the sun, because all our 14 generations have seen the sun and we think it is eternal. No. But it can help us to understand generations after generations, the same sun is there. And they had seen, we are now seeing, our next generation will be seeing. So we can get a conception about the long, eternal, and that is called Sat. Though the sun is changing regularly every moment, but Sat cannot be changed. Not a single portion of it will change. That this is Sat. And Chit means knowledge. What is that knowledge? That is the only existence, and all that we see is nothing but the reflections. How? And Sri Ramakrishna himself kept all some of the bowls with full of water, and you can see the reflections of the sun. The reflections of the sun also look like the sun itself. And we can think that, oh, there are 7 suns. No. One after another, when you are breaking, we are thinking, now it is 6, now it is 5, now it is 4. Then the last one, when you break, is, oh, there is no sun. Wrong. So all that reflection that we see in the form of human being, in the form of animals, birds, reptiles, insects, plants, and so many other things that we see is nothing but the reflection of the same Chaitanya. And that is called knowledge. And that is the reason he is telling Sat, Chit and Ananda. The moment you get that knowledge, you get the bliss. And for that Ananda, for that joy, for that bliss, you don't depend on anything else. We are constantly depending on something external. So when that is not there, we are sorry. I like someone. When he comes, I feel joy. The moment he leaves, I feel sorry, because I am depending on something external. But when I am enjoying my own consciousness, which is within me, I am always in joy. That is called Sat Chit Ananda. And Sri Ramakrishna is explaining the devotees that with the realization of Sat Chit Ananda, one goes into Samadhi. Then duties drop away. Duty is a dharma, kartabya as they call it. The moment I have accepted some responsibility, it is my religion to perform that. That is called kartabya. So this is very unique. I think a few days back, I was seeing that the one gentleman who every time comes over here to clean our snow, and one young boy, he was also helping. The gentleman, elderly person, he was cleaning with the vehicle, and this boy was helping manually. And when I went near, he said, "Oh, it is so cold." I said, "Do you like to have a cup of coffee?" Good idea, he said, "but let me talk to my father." And that gentleman was his father. Both of them, they came, they were not expecting. And then I gave them whatever coffee they liked. They told American type, black coffee and all that. Father and the son, they sat over there, and the father mostly is speaking in his own tongue. It was difficult for me to understand. But the son is studying over here, so he was translating into English. I like the father-son duo, and they are so serious of the duty. They are doing the dharma. They have accepted And that responsibility, all of us, we are inside the room. We are so scared to go out because it is chill cold. But they are doing their duty. Not that they were having lot of dresses, but still they were performing their duties because they have accepted that. Maybe that they are taking some money, but still they're performing their duty. So anywhere, anyone performing his duty perfectly, and then he is giving the fruit to the God. God, I have tried my best to give it to you. Now you please accept it. And that becomes spiritual. Maybe that I am taking some money to sustain my body, to help my family, to support my family. It doesn't matter. But when I am sincerely performing my own duty, that's why Sri Ramakrishna is telling that is also dharma, and we should not say we cannot. When I am a student, I am supposed to study properly, as best as possible. All are not that intelligent, but whatever. Then when I am a householder, my responsibility is to look after my family. How it can be best way I can earn money, as maximum money as possible. When I am a sannyasi, the sannyasa dharma I must perform. So that is the responsibility that I have taken. I am a policeman, I am a military, or I am a politician, I am a businessman, and so many varieties. So that time I must have to do my duty perfectly. And then ultimately I will offer that whole thing to God, spirituality. But when a person is realizing God within himself, all his duty is dropped. He need not to care about his mother or father or family, because that time he is constantly remaining with the God. That's why Sri Ramakrishna is telling, with the realization of Satchidananda, one goes into samadhi, then duties drop away. Suppose I have been talking about the Ustad. Ustad means the singer who came. Among the singers in India, who are the masters, they call it Ustad. It's an Urdu word. It's the Urdu, Ustad means the master. Suppose I have been talking about the Ustad and he arrives. He is giving an example. What need is there of talking about him then? I am talking about God. I am performing my duties. I am offering my result. All these things I am doing for what? For God realization. And when I see the God within myself and before me, why should I have to do all those things again? One person, 2-3 people, they came and they were religious minded. They came and sat before Sri Ramakrishna and the conversation was going on. Suddenly, they stopped the conversation, closed their eyes, took out their japamala and the counting beads. I have brought some counting beads from Belur Math, and along with the, as we call the bag, you have to. So one lady purchased and I was teaching him how to do it. So the japamala, they brought out the japamala and they started counting the name of God. Sri Ramakrishna noticed and said, why you are doing it here? It's not necessary. They couldn't understand. Because they want to talk to God, they want to meet God, they want to see God, and God was sitting over there before them in the form of Sri Ramakrishna. Unfortunately, they didn't realize it. So even the God, when He is appearing before us, and if we are not ready, we may not recognize it. That is the unfortunate thing. For that again we have to pray to God again and again. Oh God, it's not in my capacity to understand you. So please tell me when you are before me, in whatever form, I like to see you. And when he comes in a different form, sometimes the person, the hero like the Arjuna, he was terrified when he saw that huge God, all pervading, everything is going within him. And that time God in the mood of destruction. The hero like Arjuna also trembled, and immediately with a folded hand he said, please, please, be calm, please be calm. Yatte dakshinamukam tatte pashyami. I want to see your benign face. Please be happy with me. I want to see your benign face. God has different type of forms, but we want to see when he is happy. So here he is telling that when you are engaged, now he is going on giving. Suppose I have been talking about the Ustad, and Ustad has come. I need not to talk about them. How long does the bee buzz around? He is giving another example. So long as it is not sitting on the flower, but it will not do for the sadhaka to renounce duties. He should perform his duties such as worship, japa, meditation, prayer and pilgrimage. When one has taken up the spiritual life, then one should go on performing all these things. First is worship, then taking the name of God, japa, then meditation, then prayer, and then pilgrimage. Sometimes people should go to the holy places, because that reminds them about God. And the monotony will be removed. And majority of the tourism in India based on pilgrim. So India, the people, they are trying to develop some good scenery and this, that. People don't visit that. That is the psychology of the Indians. If I have to go, and they say in Bengali, Rath dekha kola becha. I am going to enjoy the chariot festival. At the same time, I will sell the banana also, the produce of my garden. So both things I will do. So that way they go to pilgrimage, go to the temple, bow down before the deity. At the same time they will be clipping and snapping, taking the photo all around the scenery. But if you simply tell them go and there is a beautiful sea beach and all that, nobody is interested. People won't go. If you have something over there, holy, so the pilgrimage, that we have to understand. If you see someone engaged in renouncing even after he has realized God, you may liken him to be a bee, which also buzzes a little even while sipping honey from a flower. Some of the people, even after realization of God, they will be going to different places and talking about God, like Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna himself, like Jesus Christ, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They didn't want it at all. It was not necessary for them to visit so many places, to go to so many people, but they liked it because they wanted to help the people. The children don't like to listen the advices that their parents will be giving. But the parents always try to take an opportunity to tell them this is good for you and this is bad for you, harmful for you. And similarly, the world teachers also, spiritual teachers also, they go to different houses, try to tell them that this is the truth. Again and again, the same thing they'll be repeating. And maybe that one or two will understand it, like it, transform their lives. That is the thing. So this way the people realize soul also, they'll be going to so many different places. Some people are there who will be only sitting in one place, meditating, doing the japa, they are sadhakas. But Swami Vivekananda want each and every one of the Ramakrishna mission monastics, they should do both. Atmana moksha, jagat hita. Atmana moksha for his own salvation, doing meditation, practicing meditation, doing japa, the prayer, all those things at the same time going out, mixing with people, talking with them, trying to give them some idea about God as simple way as possible. That is the duty of the mission monks and nuns. Because that way also you are always reminding God. So this is the call divine mission. Musician said, what is the way to realize God? That musician who came, he is asking this question. Why Sri Ramakrishna liked his music? We can understand hearing his question. Because he is interested to know about God and how to realize God. What is the simple way? Then Sri Ramakrishna, bhakti is the one essential thing. You know, in India, long back, they have found 4 ways that can lead to God realization. Bhakti, jnana, karma and yoga. This Chatur yoga, the word, Sanskrit word yoga means union, plus yoga. What is the union? What with whom? To God, with God. And what is the way? Bhakti. Bhakti means first and foremost that God is there and I love God. Now I only want to meet, I only want to see, I like to talk, and all the time my mind is thinking about that God. And that is why in Indian philosophy, majority of the philosophy do not believe in God. This is very peculiar in India. But there are 33 crores gods and goddesses. How come? Because they have developed with the prayer of the individual people. I like to see God in this form because I can constantly think about Him in this form. As a child Rama, as a child Krishna, Ram, Lala. Lala means the kid. Ram, but at the same time kid. I have to protect that Rama. Rama is my God. But at the same time, like mother, I must take care of the Rama, Ramachandra. Who is protecting the whole universe? I am protecting him. Why? Because I love him. I think that he is not careful about himself. He do not know how to eat. He do not know how to bathe. I have to take care. That's called bhakti. So I am cooking food for my Rama. I am preparing dress for my Rama. I am giving the flower and all those things to my Rama. Anywhere, anything that I see good, I purchase that, collect that for my Rama. That's called devotion. Constantly, in every way, going on thinking. So that is very, very easiest way. Because the devotion, the love, the attachment is always there within us. Only we have to turn it to God. Bhakti is the one essential thing. To be sure, God exists in all beings. Who then is a devotee? Sri Ramakrishna is asking the question and giving the answer. He whose mind dwells on God. He whose mind dwells on God. In everything you will be thinking about God. I don't claim that I am a devotee. I try to be a devotee. And when sometimes we will be in the aircraft and it goes high up above the clouds, when it is moving, I can see below the white cloud all around. I think this may be the place where the gods they live. Maybe that the Ganesha, the Kartikeya, they are playing over here. Maybe the Ramachandra, the Krishna, they are all here. When you look at the Himalaya, and one Swami, he used to say, look at that. Don't you feel that the Lord Shiva is lying on his back? Look, these are all matted here. This is the nose. These are the lips. This is the cheek. Then, if you look at that, nothing but the mountain only. But only you are imagining. Then when you see the rising sun, You think the God is coming up slowly, is standing on the sun, is coming up, he is radiant, all his light is coming on you, all the scene, all the follies, all the mistakes are vanishing, you are enlightened, whole body is lighted up, and you are praying, Jaba Kushuma Samkasham Kashyapeyam Mahadutim Dhantarim Sarva Papagnam. All my sins, all my follies, all my mistakes, all my selfishness, please remove. And you are fresh, as if you have bathed in the holy Ganga. Nothing but imagination. But the devotee, in every time, every moment, they will be thinking like that. Who is a devotee? He whose mind dwells on God. But this is not possible as long as one has egotism and vanity. So this is not possible for any person who is having the egotism. There are some people, they will be always questioning, that you said, I can understand, but I have a question. In English they call doubting Thomas. Constantly they will be doubting, if this is this, and then what? Do you really get all the answers? No. Then why not? Because major part of the life is already over. What you are going to gain after that? Believe. Try with this also. You have tried so many ways. Why don't you believe? So that Sri Ramakrishna is telling, the water of God's grace cannot collect on the high mound of egotism. I know there will be many people, they will be arguing, and very sharp argument they will be giving. They think they can understand everything, and they will be telling this is not possible, that is not possible. How do you know that is not possible? The one small kid fall from 7th floor and it was saved. How can you tell, oh no, it is not possible, but he was leaving? How it was possible? Sometimes it happens, it's an accident. Is an accident? So that is the reason some people all the time they will be having doubt. Why don't you think there is someone who can do something more? Your birth, your survival, your intellect, your success, all depends on someone behind whom you don't know, whom you don't believe, but still going on getting. Someday when you won't, with all your qualities, you can understand you were nowhere. What happened to Arjuna? Arjuna was, within his mind, a very egoistic person. He used to think, I am the hero. No one can fight with me. My archery is the best in the whole world. And when Sri Krishna passed away, and when all their family ladies, some people came and they were taking them away forcefully, they were asking Arjuna for help. Arjuna ran, wanted to pick up his bow, he couldn't pick up. So that shows even the hero like Arjuna, whose bow he was very famous of that, he couldn't pick up that bow. Who was the strength behind? Krishna. Where from the success came? From Krishna. We read these stories, but we do not believe it. Unless and until we get the knock, we do not understand. And when you get the knock, it is too late to understand. So that is the reason the personality like Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he has come, he has advented only to tell us this. And he was telling, it runs down, I am a mere machine. So again and again you have to tell yourself, am I really capable to do all these things? I am a machine. That's true. And the more you think like that, the more you are humble. The more you are humble, more blessings are coming on you. To Kedar and the other devotees, he said, God can be realized through all paths. God can be realized through all paths. There's a unique way he is telling. He is the combination now in this particularly present day world when people are so egoistic, including the spiritual leaders, many of them, and they are constantly fighting, telling that my views, my belief, my faith, my religion is the only truth. And Sri Ramakrishna is the answer to this present day world. He is telling all paths are leading to the same goal. God can be realized through all. All religions are true. Can you imagine the broadness? How this broadness came? Because he realized God through all paths. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, Avatara Barishtaya. There were so many others avatars. They only dictated one path. That here is one who is telling that any path you can follow. The important thing is to reach the roof. You can reach it by stone stairs, or by wooden stairs, or by bamboo steps, or by a rope. It doesn't mean anything. You can also climb up by a bamboo pole. He is giving the example. The thing that you have to reach over there in the roof. You may say that there are many errors and superstitions in another religion. I should reply, suppose there are. Every religion has errors. Religions are the path, is a way, a system that is helping you. There may be some errors, some mistakes. Every religion has errors. Everyone thinks that his watch alone gives the correct time. The moment you ask someone what is the timing, he will only read from his own watch, and he thinks that is the correct one. So that way Sri Ramakrishna is so minutely is to observe the whole society and is to give very simple day to day, from the day to day life, examples to rectify, to correct our wrong thinking. My religion is the truth. One Swamiji, he in his own lecture, he spoke quoting Swami Vivekananda, Vedantic brain, Islamic body. Swami Vivekananda by that way wanted to mean that the high intellect and unique idea of oneness of Vedanta. And Islamic body is the uniqueness of physically, socially unification. The moment one is a Muslim, all over the world he is accepted by other Muslims. So that he said, if these two, the intellect, broad intellect, and at the same time socially united, if these two comes together, then the human society will be very, very successful. Now one of our brothers who loves his own religion, Hinduism, so much, he is going on criticizing us. Why you should have to tell this? What wrong? You are not understanding. So that is the way some people are so egoistic, they think whatever they have understood, that is correct and perfect, and that's why in the name of religion so much of clashes and bloodshed. Here Sri Ramakrishna is the answer to these hostility. You may say that there are errors. Suppose there are. Even every religion has errors. Everyone thinks that watch is alone gives the correct time. It is enough to have yearning for God, the desire to see God, the hankering to see God. That is the one thing one must have. How he is going, what religion he is following, method he is following, it doesn't matter at all. Only if you are sincere enough, it is enough to love him and feel attracted to him. Don't you know that God is the inner guide? He sees the longing of our heart and the yearning of our soul. Suppose a man has several sons. The older boys addressed him directly as Baba or Papa, but the babies cannot, and at best call him Ba or Pa. Now, will the father be angry with those who address him in that indistinct way? The father knows that they too are calling him, only they cannot pronounce his name well. All children are the same to the Father. Likewise, the devotees call on God alone, though by different names. They call on one person only. God is one, but his names are many. We will close over here, and in our next class, we'll proceed with this. The unique way Sri Ramakrishna is bringing the mind so broad. So one who wants to be the devotee of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna must possess this broadness. Otherwise, one cannot become the devotee of Sri Ramakrishna. Now let us conclude with the prayer to Thakur again. Om Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampa Dhrita Vigraham Vai Ishavattaram Parameshamidyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. That's it. These classes that I have already given in the last, at the time of discourses, 24 lectures. One American young man, he volunteered, he heard this, he liked it very much, and he told that last 5-6 years I was trying to understand the religion, and I went to so many places, but after listening to your that because in the YouTube and the live stream this goes, and he has seen it in the YouTube and then downloaded, and he has made it MP3. So there is no picture, but this can be hard, the lecture can be hard. The 24 lectures he has downloaded, and that I am thinking that make it copies so that it will be available in our bookstore. So many people can purchase it. 24 means 24 hours. So one, when he is driving the car, he can listen to it. So we will be developing. At the same time, only I think a few days back, the same person came and he gave me all the yoga classes. So these two I am thinking to develop many copies, and then we will sell it from our bookstore. Thank you.